Without a transplant, you have maybe a year. The doctor's words echoed in my ears, a death sentence delivered in a sterile white room. My name is Maya. I was 28 years old, and I was dying. The doctors said only a kidney transplant could save me. My world, once so full of the bright future I was building with my husband, Liam, just crumbled into dust. We put my name on every donor list we could find, but with each passing month, hope began to feel like a cruel joke. The waiting was a special kind of torture, a slow fade into despair. Then, just as I was ready to give up, a miracle happened. A match was found. Her name was Clara. She was a friend of a friend, she said. She'd heard about my story and felt this overwhelming need to help. She seemed like an angel, sent from heaven itself to save me. I remember her telling me, "I just want to do something good." And her eyes were so soft, so sincere. How could I ever doubt her? The surgery was a complete success. I woke up feeling a new life coursing through me. Clara had given me back everything. I started calling her my guardian angel. Liam was incredibly supportive through it all, holding my hand, being my rock. But I did notice something odd. He would get strangely distant, almost cold, whenever I praised Clara too much. I brushed it off, thinking it was just the stress of the whole ordeal weighing on him. For a whole year, I lived in this bubble of blissful gratitude. My health returned, stronger than ever. The world was vibrant again. Colors seemed brighter. The air smelled sweeter. Life was beautiful. I owed it all to Clara. Then, one afternoon, the bubble burst. I was looking for a pen in Liam's home office, rummaging through his desk. Behind a drawer, something was stuck. I pulled it out. It was a crumpled photograph. In it, Liam and Clara were laughing. His arm was wrapped tightly around her waist, their bodies pressed together in a way that screamed intimacy. It wasn't a friendly hug. I flipped it over. The date on the back was from 2 years ago, a full year before I even got sick. The floor just fell away from beneath me. My legs gave out. This wasn't a friend of a friend. This wasn't a chance meeting. This was an affair. My guardian angel was my husband's mistress. That night I confronted Liam. It was a storm of tears and rage and disbelief. He broke down completely, confessing everything. They had been in love for years. He said they tried to end it, but they just couldn't stay away from each other. His confession was a dagger to my heart, but it also raised a more horrifying question. Why would she do it? Why would his mistress save the life of the one person standing in the way of her own happiness? Guilt, Liam sobbed, his face buried in his hands. She was consumed by it. She said saving you was her penance, her way of making things right. I wanted to believe him. I desperately wanted to believe that this one good act could come from such a dark place. But a cold, sickening suspicion began to grow in the pit of my stomach. It just didn't add up. A few months later, I started feeling unwell again. It began with a familiar fatigue, a deep-seated weariness I hadn't felt since before the transplant. Then came the nausea, a slow, creeping weakness that stole my energy day by day. I tried to deny it, but I knew something was terribly wrong. We ran the tests. The results were devastating. My body was showing signs of rejecting the new kidney. The doctors were baffled. They said it was highly unusual for rejection to happen so late after a surgery, especially with what they called a perfect match. Suspense became my constant companion. Every doctor's appointment was filled with dread. Every blood test felt like a spin of a roulette wheel with my life on the line. While the doctors looked for medical answers, my mind kept going back to that photograph, to Liam's hollow words. My suspicion grew into an obsession. I started digging. I went through old phone records, pulled up bank statements Liam thought I'd never see. And there it was. Monthly payments from his private account to a specialty clinic. Payments that started right after my transplant. With the help of a friend, I came up with a plan. I posed as a medical researcher and called the clinic. I made up a story, asking about rare post-transplant complications for a paper I was writing. The nurse on the line, thinking I was a colleague, was surprisingly forthcoming. She mentioned a rare, hard-to-trace pharmacological agent, an agent that could slowly, methodically, induce organ rejection if administered consistently over time. That was it. The final, horrifying piece clicked into place. This wasn't an act of penance. This was a long, slow, and perfect murder. Clara hadn't donated her kidney out of guilt. She had donated it to get closer to me, to gain unrestricted access to my life. She was ingratiating herself into my home, becoming my confidant, my best friend. She brought over homemade meals. She blended healthy smoothies she swore would help my recovery. And all the while, she was secretly poisoning me, ensuring that her kidney and I would eventually fail. And Liam, my husband, he either knew everything, or he willfully ignored the truth because my death would finally free him to be with her. The thought was more painful than any physical illness. The drama had to end. I orchestrated a final, silent confrontation. I invited them both to our home, under the pretense of a gratitude dinner for Clara. They arrived smiling, bearing gifts. I let them get comfortable before I walked to the dining table. I placed the photo, the bank statements, and the name of the clinic right there in the center. They stared at the items, confused. Then I spoke, my voice terrifyingly calm. "The doctors are switching my anti-rejection medication," I said, looking from one to the other. "And the police are very interested in the toxicology report they're about to run." The look of sheer panicked shock on their faces was my victory. It was a symphony of guilt and exposure, their perfect plan shattering before their eyes. They are facing trial now. My body is fighting, and I'm on a new treatment plan, with new hope. But the psychological scars are deep. The woman who saved my life tried to take it away in the most cruel and personal way imaginable. I survived a disease, only to be betrayed by the two people I trusted most in the world. But I am still here. I am a survivor. And my story is a warning. The most dangerous threats don't always come from strangers. Sometimes, they come disguised as angels. Thank you for listening to my story. If you found this compelling, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Stay safe, and always trust your gut.